There's a silent law at work behind everything that comes into your life. It's not in books, no one explains it in school, and you almost never hear it in a normal conversation. But you've felt it many times without realizing it. It arises in those moments when, suddenly, something falls into place. When you stop obsessing. When you let go of the outcome. When you stop chasing after what you think you need to be happy. And yet, things start to arrive. Today, I want to tell you why this happens, how you can intentionally activate it, and how this law determines your progress, your opportunities, your relationships, your peace of mind, and your financial success. It's not magic, it's not mystical energy, it's not a motivational phrase disguised as wisdom. It's a psychological, emotional, and practical principle that operates within all of us. And to understand it, we first need to acknowledge something uncomfortable. We live bound to a dynamic that destroys our clarity. A dynamic that makes us feel behind, inadequate, out of sync. The "I have to" dynamic. I have to achieve it now. I have to have results now. I have to prove something now. And this constant pressure disconnects you from your own rhythm. It makes you act from fear, not from vision. From scarcity, not from strategy. From anxiety, not from wisdom. And when you act from that place, no matter how hard you try, everything feels like it costs 3 times as much. You feel like nothing is flowing. You feel like no matter how much you push, things aren't moving forward. But there's a moment, a precise point, when that invisible force shifts. And it usually happens when you make a small internal change. You go from "life is happening to me" to "life is happening for me." It seems simple, but it isn't. Because that phrase changes your entire mindset. It changes your breathing, your boldness, your decisions, your way of looking at problems. When you understand that life isn't punishing you, but preparing you, you start responding differently. You start seeing yourself as the protagonist, not the victim. And right there, you activate this silent law. Let me explain it more clearly. Every thought you have creates a microdecision. Every microdecision moves you closer to or further from a desired outcome. And when you have a victim mentality, even if you won't admit it, those microdecisions always hold you back. But when you change your internal narrative, those microdecisions change. You stop forcing things. You stop begging for opportunities. You stop demanding immediate results. And you begin to build from a place of calm and clarity. The most interesting thing is that when you enter that state, things that seemed blocked begin to move on their own. If this message is making you think differently, consider subscribing. We talk about this every week, how to grow on the inside so your life grows on the outside. Many call it flow, others call it synchronicity, others say it's luck. But it's really alignment. Alignment with your priorities, your energy, and your vision. Because when you align internally, the external world responds. This is where the second shift comes in. Stop saying, "I have to," and start saying, "I choose." I choose to work. I choose to improve. I choose to learn. I choose to move forward. This shift transforms obligation into personal power. And when you feel in control of your decisions, you change the way you execute. Discipline no longer feels like punishment. It feels like a privilege. Because you understand that every action is building you up. You're not just completing tasks, you're forging your identity. And that gives you a strength that most people never develop. There's another equally powerful shift. Stop saying, "I'm behind," and start saying, "I'm on my own timeline." This point is crucial because the anxiety that consumes you almost always stems from comparing yourself to others. You see the progress of others as proof of your own inadequacy. You believe they're arriving before you. You believe you're falling behind. But what you don't see is that each person has a different process, a different story, different opportunities, different contexts. And you are living the life you're meant to live right now. That life, with its challenges and timing, is preparing you for what you asked for. You're not behind, you're a work in progress. When you understand this, your relationship with time changes completely. You no longer rush. You no longer pressure yourself. You no longer measure your worth based on the calendar or the achievements of others. You simply move forward. Calmly. Strategically. With conviction. And here comes the fourth shift: stop saying, "I can't," and start saying, "I can do difficult things." This phrase alters your nervous system. It literally expands your tolerance for effort. Nothing meaningful in life comes easy, not peace of mind, not financial stability, not independence, not emotional health. Everything worthwhile requires difficulty. But when you embrace that difficulty as a natural part of the process, stop being afraid. Stop being paralyzed. Stop being drained. And start getting stronger. There's something almost magical that happens when you tell yourself, "I can do difficult things." Your brain starts looking for evidence that it's true. It starts giving you strength, focus, resilience. And that's when your progress becomes inevitable. Now, I want you to listen to this carefully. There is a critical moment on the path of anyone who grows. A moment that separates those who move forward from those who get stuck. That moment occurs when life throws you a tough, unexpected, unfair, painful, exhausting situation. And you feel like that situation is going to break you. You feel like it's too much. You feel like you've run out of room to maneuver. You feel like you shouldn't be going through it. And that's where many people collapse. But it's also the exact place where your strongest self is born. Because life doesn't throw obstacles in your path to destroy you, but to show you who you can become if you don't give up. When that painful challenge appears, that's when you're being renewed. You're being sculpted. You're being stretched. You're being lifted up. And even if you don't understand it at that moment, later you'll realize that it was necessary. It was the breaking point that pushed you toward your true potential. It was the test that made you more resilient. It was the discomfort that sparked your growth. Because no transformation happens when everything is going well. Transformation happens when life shakes you up. If anything I just said resonated with you, leave it in the comments. I want to read it. Maybe your story can help someone else going through the same thing. And here we return to the silent law. This law states, when you stop chasing from anxiety and begin acting from your true self, things start arriving at the exact moment you are ready to receive them. Not before. Not after. Exactly. Look back. Think about something you desperately wanted, something you wanted with all your heart. Do you remember what that feeling was like? Do you remember how you tried to control everything? Do you remember the frustration? And yet, when it finally arrived when you were ready. Not when you demanded it. Life works this way because it is designed for your expansion, not your comfort. Doors don't open when you want them to. They open when you change. And when you understand this, anxiety becomes direction. Fear becomes focus. Impatience becomes vision. Frustration becomes fuel. And freeing yourself from the desperate need for everything to happen now, gives you back enormous power, the power to move forward without feeling broken inside. So, what happens when you integrate these changes? You begin to move forward without forcing anything. You begin to grow without collapsing. You begin to attract opportunities because you're no longer vibrating from a place of lack. You begin to make wise decisions because you're no longer thinking from a place of urgency. You begin to feel clarity because your mind is no longer hijacked by fear. And little by little, you become a person who inspires respect, trust, and admiration. Not because you're perfect. Not because everything goes your way. But because you have a different presence. A different confidence. A different calm. A different energy. The energy of someone who no longer wants to control everything, because they know they are exactly where they need to be to become who they are meant to be. I want you to take this to heart: nothing that is meant for you will arrive before you are ready, and nothing that isn't meant for you will remain. Your only task is to grow. To grow internally. To grow in character. To grow in discipline. To grow in clarity. To grow in mindset. And when you do that, the external world falls into place on its own. And yes, there will be times when it will seem like you're going backward. But it's not backward, it's readjustment. There will be times when you'll feel like you're falling apart. But it's not dismantling, it's renewal. There will be times when you'll feel like everything is stopping. But it's not a pause, it's preparation. Life has perfect timing. You just have to do your part without breaking down inside. And if you want to continue receiving content to support you in this process, like this video. It's not for the algorithm, it's just so I know this is helping you and I can continue creating more for you. So today I leave you with this final message: stop obsessing. Stop forcing. Stop running. Stop comparing yourself. Stop demanding perfection. And start building from a place of calm, from vision, from the right identity. Life isn't against you. It's shaping the version of you that will be able to sustain everything you're dreaming of. Activate this silent law. Trust your process. Walk with intention. And always remember, your life changes the day you understand that you're not behind, you're on your own path. Your own pace. Your own story. And everything that's meant for you will come when you're the person capable of holding on to it.